The sun rose over Earth, shining brightly on a day that would change history forever. In a high-tech facility orbiting the planet, scientists were buzzing with excitement. After years of hard work, they were about to activate the Earth's orbital ring. This enormous structure had been built to provide energy for the entire planet, but it had been dormant for far too long. Dr. Emma Collins, the lead scientist, stood at the control panel, her fingers trembling with anticipation. "Today we finally unleash the power of the orbital ring," she declared. Her team cheered, their faces lit with hope and enthusiasm. The ring had the potential to transform life on Earth, providing limitless energy and resources. It could change everything. As Dr. Collins pressed the button, a low hum filled the air. The orbital ring began to glow, and bright beams of light shot into space. The scientists watched in awe as the energy surged through the massive structure. They had waited for this moment for years, and now it was happening. The room was filled with excitement, but deep down they were also nervous. What if something went wrong? Meanwhile, on the ground, people went about their daily lives unaware of the monumental event taking place above them. But things were about to change. As the energy from the ring spread, it caused a ripple in space. Sensors on Earth suddenly detected something strange. Huge alien ships were heading toward the planet. Dr. Collins and her team were alerted by the blaring alarms. "We have incoming targets. Multiple alien vessels detected," a technician shouted, panic rising in her voice. The excitement of the activation turned into fear in an instant. The scientists turned their attention from the glowing ring to the screens showing the approaching ships. "What do we do?" one of the scientists asked, his voice trembling. Dr. Collins took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "We need to prepare for an attack. Activate the defense protocols." She quickly issued commands to her team. They rushed to their stations, gathering data and analyzing the alien ships. The aliens were known for their ruthless conquests, and Earth was now in their sights. Outside, the skies darkened as the massive alien fleet descended toward Earth. The ships were unlike anything humans had ever seen. Huge, intimidating, and bristling with weapons. The alien invaders were notorious for their brutal attacks on other planets. News of their arrival spread quickly, and panic erupted across the globe. Governments scrambled to respond as fear settled in. Back in the orbital facility, the team worked feverishly. "If we can harness the power of the ring, we might stand a chance against them," Dr. Collins thought, determination filling her heart. The orbital ring had been built as a source of energy, but perhaps it could also be a weapon. They needed to act fast. Suddenly, the control room shook violently as the first alien ships unleashed their weapons. Blasts of energy lit up the sky. The scientists watched in horror as explosions erupted on the ground below. The fear was palpable. They had no idea how powerful these aliens were. "Activate the orbital ring's defense systems now," Dr. Collins shouted. The technicians worked quickly, pressing buttons and typing commands. The ring glowed even brighter as it tapped into its hidden power. Just as the aliens prepared for another strike, the ring released a wave of energy, creating a protective shield around Earth. The alien ships paused, their sensors registering the unexpected defense. They had never faced such technology before. Confusion spread through their ranks, and for the first time, the invaders felt fear. The humans had turned their dormant power into a shield, giving them a glimmer of hope against the seemingly unstoppable force. As the ring continued to hum with energy, Dr. Collins felt a surge of hope mixed with fear. This was just the beginning. Would the orbital ring be their salvation or their doom? The future of Earth hung in the balance, and they were about to find out just how powerful humanity could be when pushed to the edge. The alarm bells rang across Earth, piercing the calm of everyday life. News of the alien invasion spread like wildfire. Citizens looked up at the sky, their hearts pounding with fear. What were these ships? Who were the beings that piloted them? As fear gripped the planet, military forces prepared for battle. They had never faced anything like this before. In the orbital facility, Dr. Emma Collins and her team watched the screens with growing dread. The alien ships were enormous, dark, and menacing. They hovered above Earth, blocking out the sun and casting shadows on the ground. "We have to do something," one technician shouted, panic rising in her voice. "Calm down," Dr. Collins urged, her voice steady despite the chaos. "We need to assess their technology. If we can understand their weapons, we might have a chance." She turned to her team. Get me a feed from the satellite cameras. I want to see what we're up against." As they scrambled to gather data, the first shots rang out. The aliens opened fire on major cities, their weapons blazing with a fierce light. Buildings crumbled under the onslaught, and chaos erupted in the streets below. Panic ensued as people ran for shelter, desperately trying to escape the devastation. On the ground, military leaders met in war rooms, discussing their strategy. "We need to defend our major cities. If we lose them, we lose everything," a general declared. Troops were mobilized and fighter jets were scrambled. The world was united in fear, but also in determination. They would not let their home be taken without a fight. Back in the orbital facility, Dr. Collins continued to analyze the alien ships. "They have advanced shielding," she said, noting the alien technology displayed on her screen. "Our weapons won't be enough to penetrate their defenses." The realization hit her hard. They needed a plan, and they needed it fast. Suddenly, the orbital ring hummed with energy. "It's charging up again!" one technician shouted. Dr. Collins felt a surge of hope. "If we can harness that power and channel it to our military, we might stand a chance." She quickly relayed the plan to her team. They needed to work together to send the orbital ring's energy down to Earth. As the scientists worked feverishly, the alien ships continued their assault. The skies were filled with fire and smoke as explosions rocked the cities. The world watched in horror as their defenses crumbled. Just when it seemed that all hope was lost, a breakthrough occurred. The orbital ring began to channel energy down to Earth, sending powerful bolts of energy toward the ground. The military, equipped with this new power, launched a counterattack. Fighter jets zipped through the air, now reinforced with energy shields that could withstand the alien blasts. The tide began to turn as humans struck back. They targeted the alien ships with renewed vigor, their determination fueled by the hope that came from the orbital ring. Dr. Collins watched the battle unfold on the monitors. "Yes, we're making progress," she exclaimed, a smile breaking through the tension. The energy from the orbital ring had transformed their weapons, making them more powerful and effective against the alien fleet. But the aliens were not easily deterred. They regrouped, and their commander, a fierce warrior named Commander Zaylor, ordered his forces to intensify the attack. "They think they can fight us," he bellowed. "Show them the true power of our technology." His ships rallied, firing relentlessly at the humans. The battle became a chaotic dance of destruction. Earth's forces fought valiantly, but the aliens were relentless. Cities burned and lives were lost. The situation grew more desperate by the minute, but the orbital ring continued to empower the humans. As night fell, the glow of the orbital ring lit up the darkened skies. It became a beacon of hope amid the chaos. Humans looked up and saw that they were not alone. The orbital ring's energy coursed through them, filling them with strength. They were ready to fight for their home. Just as the humans gained momentum, the aliens unleashed a devastating weapon, targeting the orbital ring itself. The facility shook violently as the shock waves reverberated through space. Dr. Collins realized that the fate of Earth rested on the balance. They had to protect the ring at all costs. In that moment, the stakes could not be higher. The battle for Earth had only just begun, and the world held its breath, waiting to see if humanity could stand against the alien threat. Would they rise to the challenge, or would they be defeated by a force they could not comprehend? Only time would tell. The battle raged on as the alien fleet unleashed its fury upon Earth. Explosions filled the air, and the ground shook beneath the weight of destruction. Dr. Emma Collins and her team in the orbital facility watched in horror as cities crumbled under the relentless attacks. But amid the chaos, a glimmer of hope emerged. The orbital ring was fully powered, ready to unleash its hidden potential. "Activate the energy transfer to the ground forces," Dr. Collins commanded, her voice steady and filled with determination. The technicians rushed to their stations, working furiously to channel the ring's power down to Earth. As they activated the systems, a brilliant beam of light shot down from the orbital ring, illuminating the battlefield below. On the ground, the military was stunned as the energy flooded into their weapons. Tanks, fighter jets, and defense systems absorbed the power, transforming them into formidable machines. Soldiers felt an electric surge as their weapons glowed with new energy. "What just happened?" A soldier shouted in disbelief, gripping his enhanced rifle. "The orbital ring is giving us power!" Another soldier replied, a grin spreading across his face. With newfound strength, they rushed into action, determined to fight back against the alien menace. As the humans launched their counterattack, the tide of the battle began to shift. Fighter jets zipped through the sky, now armed with energy weapons that fired brilliant bolts of light. The alien ships, once so confident, now faced a fierce and coordinated assault. Explosions erupted around them as Earth's forces began to push back. In the heart of the alien command ship, Commander Zalor felt the change. "What is happening? Why are they fighting back so fiercely?" he roared, slamming his fist on the control panel. His alien officers scrambled to assess the situation, their eyes wide with fear. "They are using new weapons! We need to regroup!" The aliens had never faced such resistance before. The energy from the orbital ring was empowering the humans, making them stronger and more determined than ever. As the aliens struggled to adapt, Earth's forces pressed their advantage. Tanks rolled forward, blasting through the alien defenses, while soldiers advanced with confidence. Dr. Collins and her team watched the battle unfold on their screens. "This is incredible," she exclaimed, a mix of pride and relief washing over her. "We are turning the tide. We can win this!" But even as she spoke, she knew that the aliens would not back down easily. They were fierce warriors, and the fight was far from over. Back on the battlefield, a young pilot named Alex Thompson soared through the air in his fighter jet. He had always dreamed of flying, but now he was fighting for his life and the future of Earth. "This is for my family!" he shouted into the radio as he engaged an alien ship. With the energy from the orbital ring coursing through his jet, he maneuvered with precision, dodging enemy fire and launching a barrage of energy blasts. The alien ships started to falter, their once dominant formations breaking apart under the relentless assault. The humans were united, fighting with everything they had. They remembered the destruction and chaos the aliens had brought upon their cities, and they were fueled by a fierce determination to protect their home. As the battle raged, Commander Zalor realized that they needed a drastic measure. "Retreat!" he ordered, frustration evident in his voice. "We cannot lose our fleet to these humans. We must regroup and rethink our strategy." The remaining alien ships began to pull back, but not without suffering heavy losses. The humans cheered as they saw their enemies retreating, a powerful surge of hope filling their hearts. Back in the orbital facility, Dr. Collins and her team celebrated their success. "We did it! We turned the tide!" one technician shouted, clapping his hands in excitement. But Dr. Collins quickly reminded them, "This isn't over. We need to remain vigilant. They will be back and we must be ready." The orbital ring continued to hum with energy, a beacon of hope in the dark skies. It had given humanity a fighting chance, and now they had to harness that power wisely. The team began to strategize, brainstorming ways to use the ring's capabilities to prepare for the next battle. As night fell, the world looked up at the glowing orbital ring, a symbol of their resilience. They had fought back against an overwhelming force, and now they knew they could face whatever came next. Humanity had discovered its strength, and they were ready to defend their planet. The battle for Earth was far from over, but this victory marked a new beginning. With the power of the orbital ring behind them, the humans were prepared to face any challenge that lay ahead. The chaos of battle filled the air as alien ships rained destruction down upon Earth. Explosions echoed through the streets and smoke filled the sky. Dr. Emma Collins watched from the orbital facility, her heart racing. They had fought back, but the aliens were relentless. It was a brutal clash, and the stakes were higher than ever. Suddenly, the orbital ring began to hum with energy. Emma's eyes widened in realization. "It's powering up!" she exclaimed. "We need to harness this energy and turn the tide of battle." She rushed to her team, urgency in her voice. "Prepare to channel the energy to the ground forces. We need to help them!" Meanwhile, on Earth, the military command was in a frenzy. General Ramirez, a seasoned leader, shouted orders into the chaos. "Get the tanks into position! We need to hold the line!" His face was grim as he watched the alien ships wreak havoc on their cities. Soldiers ran to their posts, fear and determination etched on their faces. In the distance, a massive explosion rocked the city of New York. People screamed and scattered in every direction. A group of soldiers took cover behind a wall, peering out at the advancing alien ships. Private Lisa Tran gripped her rifle tightly. "We can't let them win," she shouted. "We need to fight back." Suddenly, the skies above them lit up as a beam of energy shot down from the orbital ring. It struck the ground with a bright flash, and the soldiers felt a surge of power flow through their weapons. The rifles glowed with new energy, and the tanks hummed with life. What just happened? Private Tran asked, her eyes wide with disbelief. The orbital ring, a sergeant replied, grinning. They're giving us power. With renewed vigor, the soldiers rushed into the fray, determined to take back their city. They fired their enhanced weapons at the alien ships, and the tide of battle began to shift. Dr. Collins monitored the situation from the orbital facility, her heart pounding with hope. They're fighting back, she cheered. We're making a difference. The energy from the orbital ring was empowering the humans, making them stronger and more resilient. Back on the battlefield, Alex Thompson, a young pilot, soared through the skies in his fighter jet. He was determined to protect his home. I won't let them destroy my city, he shouted as he engaged an alien ship. With the energy from the orbital ring enhancing his jet, he maneuvered effortlessly, dodging enemy fire and launching attacks. The alien commander, Zaylor, watched in shock as his forces began to falter. Regroup, he ordered, his voice tight with anger. We must reassess our strategy. These humans are more formidable than we thought. His alien officers scrambled to follow his orders, but the humans were relentless. As the battle continued, the orbital ring remained a beacon of hope. Each time the humans tapped into its power, they felt invincible. The soldiers pushed forward, blasting the alien ships from the sky. The once menacing fleet was now in retreat, and the humans cheered as they gained the upper hand. Dr. Collins and her team celebrated in the orbital facility. We've done it, one technician exclaimed, pumping his fist in the air. We've turned the tide! But Dr. Collins reminded them, this isn't over yet. We need to be ready for their next move. The world was on edge. Although the aliens had retreated for now, everyone knew they would return. The military leaders gathered in command centers, discussing their next steps. We need to fortify our defenses, General Ramirez stated. We can't let them catch us off guard again. As night fell, the skies glowed with the light of the orbital ring, shining brightly against the darkness. The energy it radiated was a symbol of hope, a reminder of what humanity could achieve when they united. The soldiers looked up at the ring, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced an overwhelming enemy and emerged victorious, but they knew that more challenges lay ahead. With the power of the orbital ring behind them, they felt ready to face whatever came next. The battle for Earth had only just begun. The aliens may have retreated, but they would not be gone for long. Humanity had discovered its strength, and they were prepared to defend their home with everything they had. The atmosphere was electric with tension as Earth's forces prepared for the next wave of the alien invasion. After the initial victory powered by the orbital ring, everyone felt a renewed sense of hope. But deep down, they knew the aliens would return, more determined than ever. General Ramirez stood at the command center, studying the holographic display of the battlefield. Listen up, everyone, he shouted, drawing the attention of his officers. The aliens may have retreated, but they will regroup. We need to fortify our defenses and prepare for their return. We cannot let our guard down. In the orbital facility, Dr. Emma Collins and her team worked tirelessly to maximize the orbital ring's power. They had learned a lot during the last battle, but time was running out. We need to find a way to enhance our energy output, Emma said, her brow furrowed in concentration. If we can increase the beam's strength, we might have a chance to strike before they regroup. Meanwhile, high above Earth, the alien command ship floated silently in the dark void of space. Commander Zaylor was furious. His forces had suffered heavy losses, and he could not afford to show weakness. We must adapt, he bellowed to his officers. The humans are stronger than we anticipated. We will need a new strategy. Prepare the ships for a second wave of attack. Back on Earth, the soldiers were busy training and reinforcing their equipment. Private Lisa Tran, still riding the high of their earlier victory, was determined to prove herself. We need to be ready for anything, she said to her squad mates as they practiced their drills. We can't let them catch us off guard again. In the days that followed, the air was thick with anticipation. News reports warned of the impending invasion, and citizens prepared for what might come. Families stocked up on supplies, and communities banded together. They had tasted victory, but the fear of the alien threat loomed over them. On the day of the expected attack, Dr. Collins and her team were ready. We've managed to increase the energy output of the orbital ring by 30%, Emma announced, her eyes shining with determination. This should give our forces an advantage. We can hit the aliens hard if they come back. As the hours ticked by, the tension in the command center was palpable. The soldiers sat in silence, waiting for the warning signal. Suddenly, alarms blared and the room erupted into action. "They're here!" General Ramirez shouted, his voice filled with urgency. "All units, prepare for battle!" High above, the alien fleet emerged from the darkness, a massive armada ready to unleash chaos once more. Commander Zalor surveyed the scene, his anger still simmering. "This time we will crush them!" he growled, rallying his troops. "Do not underestimate them again. We will show them the true power of our fleet." As the alien ships advanced toward Earth, the humans sprang into action. Fighter jets soared into the sky while tanks rolled into position on the ground. The soldiers felt the energy from the orbital ring surging through their weapons. They were ready to fight. "Let's show them what we're made of!" Private Trans shouted, her heart racing. She climbed into her tank, gripping the controls tightly as the ground beneath her shook with the sound of battle. "For Earth!" she yelled as the first wave of alien ships opened fire. The two forces clashed in a spectacular display of light and sound. Laser blasts illuminated the sky as jets dodged and weaved between enemy fire. Tanks unleashed powerful rounds, sending shockwaves through the alien formations. For every alien ship that fell, the humans cheered, their spirits lifting with each victory. But Commander Zalor was not ready to back down. "Focus your fire on their orbital ring," he commanded. "We will cripple their power source and turn the tide of this battle." The alien ships redirected their energy beams toward the orbital ring, hoping to take away the humans' advantage. Dr. Collins and her team watched in horror as their power source came under fire. "We need to stabilize the ring," Emma yelled, her heart pounding. "If we lose it, we lose everything!" With their backs against the wall, Earth's forces pushed harder. The energy beams from the orbital ring struck back, lighting up the sky as they defended against the onslaught. The humans knew they were at a turning point. This battle would define their future. As the fighting intensified, both sides fought with everything they had. The humans knew that if they could hold on just a little longer, victory could be within reach. The power shift was happening, but the outcome was uncertain. Would they rise victorious, or would they fall to the alien menace? The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and the turning point of this epic battle had arrived. The battle raged on, and the air was thick with smoke and the sounds of destruction. Earth's forces were pushed to their limits, but they fought with courage and determination. General Ramirez stood at the command center, eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the chaos unfolding above. He could see the alien ships taking heavy damage, but also knew that their enemy was relentless. "Hold the line!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the command center. "We cannot let them break our defenses. Every soldier counts." The tension was palpable as everyone focused on their tasks, determined to protect their home. In the sky, the alien ships continued their assault, but something unexpected happened. The orbital ring, now glowing brighter than ever, unleashed a massive energy beam that struck an alien flagship. The ship exploded in a shower of debris, lighting up the dark sky. Emma Collins watched in awe as their plan unfolded. "It's working. We can turn the tide!" she exclaimed, her heart racing with hope. Below, the soldiers cheered as the alien flagship fell. Private Lisa Tran felt a surge of energy as she fired her weapon. "We can win this!" she yelled to her squadmates, her voice filled with excitement. The mood shifted. The humans felt they had a chance. As the aliens regrouped, Commander Zalor realized they were losing control. "We need to retreat!" he barked, his voice strained. "We cannot afford to lose more ships." "Fall back!" The aliens scrambled to withdraw, but Earth's forces saw this as their opportunity. "Push forward!" General Ramirez commanded, and the soldiers responded with a fierce battle cry. They surged ahead, taking advantage of the disarray among the alien fleet. Tanks rolled over debris, and fighter jets zipped through the sky, launching strikes on retreating ships. The ground shook as a massive alien cruiser attempted to flee, but it was too late. With a brilliant flash, another energy beam from the orbital ring struck the ship, igniting it in flames. Cheers erupted from the ground forces as they witnessed their victory unfolding. "Victory is ours!" General Ramirez shouted, a smile spreading across his face. "We have defended our planet against the alien menace." The soldiers cheered, their spirits soaring with pride. They had fought against impossible odds and emerged victorious. Back in the orbital facility, Dr. Collins could hardly believe the news. "We did it!" she exclaimed, tears of joy filling her eyes. "We saved Earth!" Her team cheered, overwhelmed with emotion. They had worked tirelessly to harness the power of the orbital ring, and now their efforts had paid off. As the dust settled and the last of the alien ships fled into the depths of space, the world began to breathe again. People emerged from their homes, witnessing the remnants of the battle. They looked to the skies, where the orbital ring continued to shine brightly, a symbol of hope and resilience. But victory was not just about defeating the aliens, it was also about what came next. In the days that followed, world leaders gathered to discuss the future. They knew they had to strengthen their defenses and prepare for any future threats. General Ramirez addressed the leaders, his voice steady and resolute. "We must learn from this experience," he said. "We have shown what humanity can accomplish when we unite. We need to invest in our technology, strengthen our alliances, and be ready for whatever comes next." Emma Collins joined the discussion, her mind racing with ideas. "The orbital ring has limitless potential. We can use its power for peaceful purposes as well," she added. "Imagine using it for clean energy, space exploration, and even communication across the stars." The leaders nodded, recognizing the importance of embracing new beginnings. The defeat of the alien invasion marked not only a victory, but a chance to redefine humanity's path. As the weeks turned into months, the world began to heal. People came together to rebuild and support one another. The spirit of cooperation flourished, with nations forming alliances to protect Earth from future threats. Private Tran and her fellow soldiers were honored for their bravery. They became symbols of hope, inspiring a new generation to stand ready to defend their planet. As Emma gazed up at the orbital ring, she felt a sense of pride and purpose. They had triumphed over darkness, but now the real work began. Humanity had the chance to embrace its future, to explore the stars, and to ensure that they would never face such threats alone again. In that moment, under the watchful glow of the orbital ring, humanity stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Triumph and new beginnings awaited them, and they were prepared to seize them.